What's up, everybody? Welcome to another episode of Yala, your thrice weekly podcast where we talk about the hottest news and the buzziest topics with a hint of what, Terrence?
Good old humor, man.
Good old humor, man. It's the
Yeah.
first podcast of September.
Oh,
Second. First.
I mean, technically, we released the last one on the 1st of September. lah.
Oh yeah, fuck.
So-
I'm losing track of time, man.
Yeah. But it's our third one for the week also, lah, right?
This is our third one for the week, correct?
Mm.
So, I mean, the last podcast we did talk about Joseph schooling, right? Since then, the news has continued. Everyone is chiming in.
Yeah.
It just feels like, whoa, what is happening, man? What is happening? Even Shamugam had a post, right?
Shamugam, Edwin Tong, ministers, lah.
Edwin
all
Tong,
had a
ministers.
lot of posts.
Oh,
And,
lama.
yeah, everyone has a hot take on the whole thing, so it's been pretty interesting watching responses.
Yeah, a hot
Yeah.
take. Any responses that surprise you so far?
I mean, the very fact that, Shamugam, who has basically, he's always been the one holding the hard line about drug use in Singapore, lah, right? He very specifically pointed out that drug abusers are treated differently from traffickers, lah, right? So that to me was an interesting nugget, lah. The fact that the Minister of Law would come out and almost specifically draw a line between abusers and traffickers so clearly, lah. Yeah.
And I'm sure international outlets are having a field day because anything to do with drugs and Singapore is like
In Singapore.
fucking border, yeah. Drugs and Singapore. Yeah, man. But today we're talking about two different topics. Hopefully this will be like a breather from now. If you open up any news website, it's Joseph Schooling's face everywhere.
Maybe a breather, but also not the best look for, Singapore companies internationally.
True.
Right.
True. But
Right.
before we dive into that, is there anything you want to say, Terrence?
I think we've been building our social media presence in the last couple of months. We've been asking people to go on Spotify and give us ratings and all that. But one thing that we always tell people is, that face-to-face connection. Just tell someone, one person today, if you really like this podcast, tell one person about it, who hasn't heard of it, and ask them to give it a chance, because nothing beats, I was going to say mouth to mouth, but I mean face to face, word of mouth, face to face,
word of mouth, lah.
recommendation.
Mouth to mouth. Doesn't need to be face to face, right? You can message
It
someone.
doesn't have to be face to face.
You can call someone. You can write them an email.
I don't know. I don't know about, but I don't know about the messaging thing, because WhatsApp etiquette also, like just bombarding people with like, oh, you should check this out, all that. After a while, it gets very grating, because that's like every WhatsApp group, lah, right?
I don't know what kind of friends you have. Like, no, one-on-one, like, you don't send it in a group. We just say sort of one person. You mean if like people send you links in a chat, like you just won't open, lah?
I'll be no, I might open, but I'll be a bit like, oh, this is like so overbearing. Like why? Like I already have
Terrence.
enough things to click on already.
Okay, so to people listening, choose a friend who's not Terrence, who's not like Terrence, who actually does appreciate the time
Find
you
a friend
take.
who cares. Who
Yeah,
cares
find
about
a
not
friend who
overloading you, not being overbearing and overloading your your head space, lah, basically.
Find a friend who does click on your links. That's the small print, lah, the fine print.
So underlying all this, you can tell who is who, lah, between Harish and me. Who's the sender and who's the receiver.
Terrence, fuck you, okay? Don't paint this thing. I don't overwhelm you with links because we have a mechanic to facilitate that, which is our Facebook group,
yes.
where
yes,
we
yes.
share shit.
I love the Facebook group because it's like, okay, when I want to check it, then I check it out.
Yeah, exactly.
But
So to
WhatsApp's
anyone,
like,
WhatsApp, no. I only do share articles very once in a while with friends who I think, hey, if I read this really good article, maybe they don't listen to the podcast. It might be my one Shiok thing, and I send it over. Yeah.
That's right. Okay.
Yeah.
We'll leave it as that.
Cool.
We'll leave it as that.
We'll leave it as that. Exactly. Let's not air our dirty laundry, Terrence.
But tell a friend. Yeah, tell a friend.
Tell a
about this.
friend. Tell a friend.
Yeah.
Correct. That was the longest plug ever. But yes.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yes.
Cool. Shall we
Let's
jump
right
into it? Yeah.
Yeah.
So, I guess, there's no one headline that is dominating the news, but it's all around the fact that Shopee, that e-commerce giant in Singapore that up till a few months ago was the biggest company in Asia by market capitalization.
I mean, it's no longer the biggest.
is no longer. Its stocks have slid by like 72% or something, man.
Ooh, crap.
That's why the founder, Forrest Lee, I think his
Mhm.
net worth has been wiped out from 17 billion at its peak to 5 billion. Only 5 billion now.
Oh damn! Wow.
Yeah,
I feel
damn.
terrible for him. I feel
Yeah,
terrible.
only 5.1 billion, which makes him the fourth richest person in Singapore. I would have thought
Wow.
5.1 billion would be pretty high, but no. I guess it's
No, man.
2022.
Yeah.
But yeah, his company, Shopee, has been in the news lately because actually it's been in the news around employment for a few months already. But more recently, what allegedly happened was they gave out job offers to a few hundred employees, prospective employees who signed the contract, but they rescinded the offers like uh, quite a short time before the start dates lah. So that's why you see accounts of like engineers from China flying into Singapore and apparently finding out at the airport that they no longer have a job.
Yeah, and these are not being they're not, the source is not the Straits Times. I think the source is from certain WeChat users and groups where people are complaining. They are themselves complaining about this happening to them lah. And then it's been subsequently reported through social media on Chinese news media. And then it's been picked up by Singapore local news media and actually other outlets around the world as well, right?
Yeah. In fact, Straits Times, they did do an article. Shopee catches would-be employees off guard after it withdraws some job offers, but it's behind a fucking paywall.
Yeah.
It's only for subscribers.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's only for subscribers. So thank you, Straits Times.
The most expensive non-profit
that's
subscription in the world. But
hey, Terrence, you might cause some people to take umbrage. Please watch your words.
Don't take umbrage at those words.
Watch your words. Yeah.
But I think the important thing to note is that this is not a Singapore, only Singaporeans are looking at this. I think basically everyone around the world is finding this quite a story that about employer-employee kind of relationships and all. So it's interesting for us to be discussing this in the context of the global economy.
When you say everywhere around the world, like where?
I mean, I've been seeing articles on trade publications. That means like about like Marketing Interactive, those sort of things. I think I've seen articles in Indian media as well. So yeah, I mean, Shopee is everywhere around the world. Like I think it's in a lot of places even outside of Southeast Asia, right? Europe and Brazil. I think it's very big in Brazil as well. So Shopee is a very recognizable name lah. And when something like this happens, everyone around the world just talks about it lah.
But what made you want to talk about it?
No, I mean, I think the first thing that hit me was that this WeChat user said that he literally received a call that rescinded his offer after he arrived in Singapore and he was at the airport right there with his wife and his dog, having just relocated to Singapore, and literally at the airport he got the call that rescinded his offer. And that to me, I mean, knowing the trouble it takes to move a dog from one country to another, I just thought, wow, that's really bad lah. That he is relocated, he's brought his whole life over, and then he has the job offer rescinded lah. It sounds really bad, but also I also thought, in the larger context of things, if Shopee, like what you were mentioning earlier, is going through a lot of financial difficulty, like what other option is there lah? And should they be vilified for making that decision? No?
So I guess the thing is, of course, it's horrible that he had to relocate. I think in the article I also read that he was with his family and dog, right?
Yeah.
Right. So that's why you're like, Terrence, I relate to this man because he has a dog and a family.
Yes. And the difficulty of relocating a dog, right?
Yeah. Family all okay, just the dog, right?
Humans okay, but dogs, big problem. Yeah. Big problem.
But at its core, right? I mean, I've also been trying to understand the legality of whether employers can rescind job offers lah. So I mean, I think like it's mixed online, so I'm not fully sure. Because in and it also depends on the company contract lah.
Yeah.
There could be a term or something. There could be something in there that you sign on knowing the risk, just
Mm.
expecting the risk to never materialize lah.
Yeah.
And that's why, I mean, for me, I wanted to talk about this because it's like a contract has been signed and the offer has been rescinded, which brings back
Mm.
memories of our own experience with that, with our first ever TV show, which we made for a
Mm.
streaming platform that ultimately the contract was meaningless, lah, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
but it does seem like it can be done, like a company can withdraw offer. And I mean, even like as recent as July 2022, there was an article
Mm.
on Yahoo Finance titled "Job Offer Rescinded: What to Do If You Had Already Given Notice." And there are
Mm.
steps saying that okay, if you have given notice, like now the climate, expect more companies to do this. In fact,
Mm.
it's a good sign that they rescinded the offer because if you join them, I mean, if they had to rescind the offer, means they're not in a good state, like. And Shopee
Mm.
has been in the news for the past few months for shutting down divisions, shutting down
Mm.
country offices, and laying off people, lah.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
so, but that's where I hope it has to take into account the fact that yeah, they had to relocate. I think there's been some talk saying that they will compensate 1 month's salary plus travel
Mm.
expenses.
Yeah.
But if that's it, lah, that's fucked up, man.
So you
Right?
think it's not enough, lah? 1 month salary plus
Because
expenses.
yeah, because okay, for all we know, they may have been jobs that they could have carried on in, and
Mm.
they
Mm.
tendered, lah, right?
Mm. Mm.
And then looking for a job is never easy. It always takes a lot of time, and finding a job, especially in this sort of climate, can be quite a relief, lah. Where it's almost okay. I don't have to worry. I can move on to the next stage of my life. Then you
Yeah.
come here, then you're taken. Then it's like, walao eh.
Yeah.
And yeah, it just feels like a very one-sided power dynamic, lah.
Yeah. And I mean the contract is the contract, lah. But I think one thing to note is that at the end of the day, you're talking about a company and a human
Mm,
being. A company and a human being with like family, a human being with relationships and all. And leaving, I mean, even just jobs aside, right? When you leave your previous job, right? You also sort of you have to close a chapter on your relationships with your colleagues there, with your bosses and all that. And you never know whether how you're leaving will also be taken, lah, right? When they hear that, oh, you're leaving for another company and all these kind of things. So it's not as easy as just turning around and saying, going back to your old company and say, hey, my job offer got rescinded and can I come and join you guys, lah, right? You've
mm,
got to go through the rebuilding past relationships and sort of explaining, yeah, this time I'm back again, looking for a job. Can you take me in? I promise I won't just quit like the last time I did, lah,
mm,
So yeah, it's never that easy when people talk about moving between jobs, lah. Of course, when the economy is doing well and everybody's hiring and all that, sure, but yeah lah, that we're facing a climate where hiring is slowing down a little bit, I think, unless
mm,
you're really top engineer talent and all that.
mm,
But even then, yeah, it's still harder, and the human aspect of it is something that um 1 month's compensation doesn't feel like it's enough, lah. You just talk about
mm,
even finding a job. You give people 1 month or so. Not that easy to find a job in a month, lah, right?
mm, mm.
So I think, yeah, it just feels a bit short, lah. 1 month.
But just now you're saying a human versus a company. But
Mm,
Terrence, in the world of business,
mm,
in the capitalistic society that we live in today, a
mm,
company provides for people. And by joining a company, there is inherent
mm,
risk. And it is a
mm.
bad economy, Terrence. And we
Yeah,
are on the
yeah, yeah,
cusp of a global war.
yeah.
And no more chicken in Singapore.
Mm,
So
mm.
can you blame the company for having to do all it can to survive?
You can't blame the company, but you can still argue that they, even for themselves as a company, this is very bad PR, right? This
Yeah.
will affect recruitment down the line, even beyond this down period for them. People are just gonna if these news articles stay up, the next time anyone is considering joining a company in boom times, they'll be like, "Do I want to join a company that if I move over to Singapore and I then suddenly I'm there with my dog and my wife and like the baby, maybe I have a baby and he's crying and he wants to go to his service apartment and all that. Then suddenly we get a call saying, hey, your job offer has been rescinded. Do I want to join a company like that, lah? So you could
Mm.
argue that trying to save, at least at the moment, trying to save the extra 1 or 2 more months salary that you should probably pay. you're actually shooting yourself in the foot longer term, lah. In the sense that it will make it harder for you to hire top talent for your firm.
But maybe Shopee is so confident of its brand that the 60 to 100 staff that they're letting go is not going to dent the demand for joining their 48,000 plus employees around the world. Because I totally get the PR angle. Because, I mean, even during COVID, when there were so many companies that had to cut down like massively, the one story that I do remember is how Airbnb treated their employees. Of course, I don't know whether it actually materialized, but the story was that they were very, very proactive in taking care of the employees that they let go. Like Brian Chesky, the CEO and co-founder, wrote this long memo. They dedicated parts of their HR team to help the people who were about to be laid off to find future jobs. And it became like this whole story and angle, and I still remember it 2 years later. So for Shopee to do this, it's almost like they're too big to give a fuck.
Feels very heartless, right?
Yeah, it feels very heartless. But then I tried to like go on forums and all to hear from people who have worked there or people who have applied, and generally the perception is not the best, lah. It's a lot of the the 996 culture, the very cutthroat, the very like work to
What's
the bone.
Can you just explain 996 culture?
It's 9 a.m. to 9 p.m. 6 days a week, which is apparently. Yeah,
it's in China. It's a very common term, right? This 996 culture. So it has, through a lot of these e-commerce platforms which are owned by Chinese companies, it seems to have trickled down to not trickled down. It has cascaded down to Singapore already.
Yeah, and if anyone working at Shopee or Tencent or ByteDance or any of those Chinese companies headquartered in Singapore vehemently disagree, please let us know in the comments, because we have. I mean, I personally have heard it through various sources. I think it's a bit less in Singapore, but it does sound like in Shopee, they really work you to the bone, and the culture is maybe not the most empathetic or compassionate.
The pay is really
good. Probably good, because up till earlier this year, their stocks were doing fucking great.
Yeah,
they were the biggest company in Asia, no?
Yeah. So I think the pay compensates for the fact that you don't see your friends and family for a long time. I mean, the one thing that really stood out about the work culture in some of these e-commerce places that I've heard of on the grapevine, it's not so much about the 996 thing, because during COVID all that, they were still working from home, but it's that they work via chat, they work via group chat. So you know how a lot of times you're like, oh, okay, you got a proposal to or something, just email it over and all that, right? No. I think in these places, it's just like it's a constant stream of like this constant flow of work-related conversations that come in on chat like 24 hours a day, lah. So and you're expected to reply those chats. You're expected like, oh, your boss messaged you there, and kind. You're expected to see it and respond and everything, lah. So it's Darren,
sounds like sounds like you fit right into the Shopee culture, man.
I was just about to say that about you.
You'll be the model employee.
I was just going to say that's probably your dream. That's your dream job, man. Where 24 hours a day you're just on chat. Firing away thoughts and links and
contrary to what you continuously think without fail, Terrence, I do not appreciate WhatsApp groups. One of the first fucking videos we did for Ministry of Funny was about how I hate WhatsApp groups. So 8 years later, you still have this perception that I'm a big fan of WhatsApp groups and I live for WhatsApp groups. No, any of my friends listening to this, they know that I suck at WhatsApp groups. And anyone who has experienced my suckiness in WhatsApp groups, you know also, right? So Terrence, get your facts in order, okay? Stop.
Is the chat as they call.
Maybe we should both join C and see what our employee ratings come out, lah.
Yeah, how
maybe we'll both be kicked out for different reasons.
Yeah, kicked out with a 1 month salary.
But companies work on Slack, what? Isn't that like a big chat also?
Correct. Yeah. So I mean, but it kind of I mean, it really depends on individual companies, lah, right? But I think what the people someone who has worked there in some of these big Chinese e-commerce companies before, just basically told me that they were just so shocked by the fact that the chat, they wake up in the morning and the chat is like, they got 200 chats that they need to look through. and definitely there's stuff for them that they need to pass out and realize that is their work for the day as well.
Oh my god.
So can you imagine just the constant stream of chat?
Holy
I mean,
shit.
it's basically fast emails, right? And just every email you have to read through and look through and see, okay, do I need to jump in on this? Do I need to address that? Do I need to answer this, answer? So it's that's where the stress comes from. Not so much the sitting in the office from 9 to 9 or anything like that.
Oh my god, that sounds horrible, man.
It sounds like a
Holy
dystopia.
Shit.
So like, you see all those ads about Slack and, those video ads and, oh, make your workday more organized and blah, blah, blah. I mean, that's like, I know that's just a slippery slope. But I mean, one thing also just to just add on to that, like, I think, would it have made it any better, let's say, if the chairman of C, who owns Shopee, Forrest Lee, say he appeared on LinkedIn and did a video of him crying while he's like making the phone calls to lay off these people. Like the chairman or CEO of the company is crying and laying off staff. Do you think that would help the public perception in any way? Because that's exactly what one CEO of some company did, right?
Yeah, but he also got a lot of flack, right? He also got a lot of flack. There was another CEO who got on a Zoom call and like in a 3 or 4 minute call, he told everyone that if you're on this call, you're going to be laid off. And that's how he delivered the message. He also kena flack.
Yeah. So is there any way that a CEO or chairman should be delivering these layoffs, to in a humane way without pissing off everybody?
I don't know. I feel like in the grand scheme of things, let's say they have 50,000 plus employees, right? There's 60, 70 employees in Singapore. I really think they don't give a fuck, no? I think it's too small. They don't give a fuck. This is not the first layoffs they've had to do or like the first rescinding of offers they have had to do. I think now this past year, since October 2021, when their share price was above $350 to what it is now, like its lowest, I think was like 60 plus or 50 plus. I think they have just been survival mode. And yeah, I think if I'm pretty sure the CEO doesn't give a shit of these kind of small blips. Small
but
little
I'm just
blips.
thinking like, even if the CEO doesn't want to give a shit about it, shouldn't the mantle should be picked up by the HR or someone to really put a at least a name to everything, to the layoff, to the whole layoff thing, such that there's a more human element to it. Right now it just feels so like it's like you got fired by robots, right? Essentially.
But then the HR team, this might be one of 200 chat groups that they have to respond to in the morning.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Then they're like, fuck, there's like 60 people. So it just becomes like this huge machine where, okay this is just another thing that's swept aside. And I mean, just the way the corporate world works, unfortunately, which we also have heard many times, like, oh, that's the corporate world, even though it's fucking bullshit. That should never be an excuse. I can see it happening a lot here. Which is sad. Which is sad.
Yeah. I mean, I think something that I was listening or watching in a video by my last one Shiok Thing, second thought on YouTube, was the idea of bureaucracy, right? The idea that capitalism is supposed to get rid of, is the perfect solution to bureaucracy, but actually what has happened in recent times is that basically bureaucracy has been outsourced from the government to private corporations already. And when I say bureaucracy, I mean like when you try to call customer service, you get answered from a chatbot, who basically just delays, it's sort of just like trying to shush you away, trying to stop you from asking further questions or trying to escalate or anything like that. When PR or when HR matters like this are made, that it's just you just get like some blah answer, some statement from some faceless department within some company. And then just the idea of bureaucracy is basically capitalism has built in the bureaucracy into all these large corporations already, So bureaucracy within government is not even our biggest enemy right now, It's actually bureaucracy in your daily life when you're dealing with big companies these days,
Yeah.
And I just see so much of that in all these big HR decisions that are being made now, yeah.
But you know what's going to solve all that, right?
What?
Web3. It's
You put your money in crypto.
yeah, it's the decentralized bureaucracy that is owned by multiple digital assets,
Yes.
where you
Yes.
mint NFTs to really, multiply your Ethereum and Solana
Yeah.
such
then
that
After
yeah,
you can't withdraw the money already after
yeah,
that.
you can't withdraw. Yeah.
And then you get a letter saying, thank you very much for your support. Yeah, we're going through financial difficulty and you can't withdraw your money.
Yeah. Then
Yep,
when Web
yep.
3 becomes too bureaucratic, the solution will be Web 4 and so on. And then
there's
it'll
always
come
a tech
full
solution.
circle. It'll come
Yeah.
full circle where the government will be the solution to Web 71.
Yeah.
That'll be 2,000 years later when we
Correct.
are all just heads living in jars.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, that's right. But yeah, lah. It's I mean, okay, if you were the guy, lah, if there's just we've gone quite far,
Yeah.
but just going back to this Shopee thing, if you were the guy at the airport, the dog and the wife and everything, how many months compensation would you be looking at before you just okay, fine, this is what it is?
I think I would start with 6 months.
Yeah.
6 months. I don't know. I don't even know. So first of all, I'm not fully sure whether this kind of rescinding of offers has been happening a lot in this climate. I think it does, but 6 months because chances are there was you had to do notice of leave, which you would still get paid, yes, but what's it going to take to relocate back? Assuming that maybe if you were renting or something like that. And plus, just feels like if you got a family and a dog and your whole life chapter has started, yeah. So I would say start with 6 months. I don't know whether that sounds too much, but for you?
Yeah, I was thinking it has to be a minimum of 6 months. Whatever your salary is, I mean, even if, let's say you earn a lot of money, but you probably also have more overheads, and I mean, you might have more overheads. I'm not saying you will have, but yeah, 6 months to me okay lah. At least you're giving me a good runway, a decent runway to, like you say, relocate and find a job again lah, right? And even just getting over the trauma of just like this whole experience, I think that itself is like a month already lah, right?
Yeah. And I mean, I can imagine how that would fall flat as a request. Like 6 months? Are you fucking kidding me? But then it might just be the case that these sort of things are always going to be one-sided. Like, because I was just thinking, if you're an prospective employee who signs a contract, there is no way you can just reject it and rescind your commitment to the company, right? Or it won't be that easy, right?
You could just not turn up lah, and then they fire you lah, right?
But then if they fire you, then are you in breach of contract or something? No. You get fired lah. You get fired. But let's say you have a good reason that you cannot join.
Yeah.
Can you just rescind it like that? You can't just email them, hey, I rescind my signing lah, right?
I think in Singapore there's a lot more leeway
Protection,
for things. No, not protection. Leeway for both the employer and employee to walk away from within the first like couple of weeks or months or something. You know, the so-called probation period lah. And the probation period is not something universal, but like I think when I was working in the US, that there wasn't, the moment you sign, you're it already lah. You're an employee already lah. There's no like probation period or anything that you have to, be on your best behavior and wait to be confirmed and all that lah.
Oh, is it?
So I think there are more protections in place in other places lah for individual workers. But in Singapore, when I say leeway, I mean usually that leeway is more in favor of the corporation than the individual lah, right?
Oh,
yeah. Because obviously, an individual who has signed a contract to join a company probably really wants to join the company lah, right? Whereas the other way, then the corporation suddenly says they don't want you. It's you're just one of like thousands of their employees lah.
Yeah. So, I mean, I'm curious. Based on like forums and articles, feels like it could go both ways. But generally, people are saying that you can take legal action, or that's why there has been like a group, a rights protection group that has been formed by Shopee prospective employees who had their offers rescinded lah. About 260 plus employees split between two groups, who are claiming that Shopee breached the offer contract, which opens them up to claims of negligence lah.
Yeah.
So
I mean, it's tough when the one like Shopee again, even just to hire lawyers and all that.
Yeah,
Shopee
man.
has a much bigger budget for their law department, their legal department. compared to a group of individuals. Yeah.
Yeah, then someone, can you imagine these employees like the guy at the airport, he's really damn fucking pissed off, maybe like arguing with his family, then he walks past this big LCD screen and he sees the fucking Shopee ad.
Yeah, the dancing
with
one.
Phua Chu Kang dancing, and just
Mark
dancing,
Lee,
and
Naminio,
the tune just gets in your head, and he's probably like, you know what? Like he can't do anything. What, he just hears the Shopee beep 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 beep.
Yeah.
Oh fuck,
Can you
man.
imagine the trauma he hears every time that song comes
Yeah,
up?
that's
The
why.
trauma he feels. And they just keep buying ads and they can't get away from it. And because they just keep stuffing it down your throat at every like 1 1 2 2 3 3 4 4 5 5, every month. It just comes up. Oh my god.
Every month 1 1.
And then you keep clicking and telling YouTube, I don't want to see this ad, but they just keep feeding it to you, and the black box just says, hey, for some reason you're very interested in Shopee.
Yeah, that's right. And then the pixel retargets you on Google or Facebook, and you just keep seeing Shopee 1 1 2 2 3.
Yeah. If anything, I would sue to stop Shopee from doing that, from having to feeding me these ads when I'm traumatized by it. Yeah.
Walao. Yeah, man. This sucks, man.
Tough situation. And I mean, the sad thing is just, they're getting a group together, but it's probably just gonna, fade into distant memory, right?
Yeah, man.
This incident, and then be swept under the carpet, and then people move on.
Yeah, man.
But yeah, I think that's maybe, like the fact that he's on social media, Chinese social media, I think is a start to get a bit more attention on it. I think he made a comment that he started his WeChat account to sort of talk about his relocation to Singapore and talk about artificial intelligence or something like that. But he ends up now his account is going to be about negotiating contracts for employment and dealing with his unemployment while going back to I don't know where he comes from, but going back to his home country or something. Yeah. So it's a completely different flavor already, his videos.
But I did see some commenters on Reddit saying that if they hope they can find the details of these people, because there is a talent crunch in Singapore, and if you get these people hired by Shopee, who I assume attract pretty good talent, there are people on the market in Singapore like fucking just wondering what the hell to do and just open to roles.
Yeah, but think about the dog as well. Like for a dog, right? Flying in the plane, how traumatic experience is. There are dogs that just die from heart attacks while traveling planes, because it's the complete it's the most scary thing, right? You don't know what's going on. You're put in a cage or black box.
And your ears are popping and shit like that.
Ideally, you've been trained to just, be calm in the box or the cage. But it's still quite traumatizing when, the plane's taking off and you're feeling all these sensations you've never felt or heard in your life.
And you're away from your owner. You're
away from your owner. So a lot of dogs die of dehydration. They die of just stress, heart attack, whatever. So yeah, imagine having to do that again, going back home to wherever they came from. Right away also. Not even not even having a chance to settle down in one place. Yeah. Heart goes out to them.
Man. Sucks.
Yeah.
Sucks.
But from one pretty shitty company to person relationship, this one, takes the cake. I think this one is another very a pretty shitty interaction between a company and a person. And what is this interaction that takes the cake?
The interaction is that a gentleman who ordered his favorite cake from Prima Deli, which is something he had been ordering for a few years on previous birthdays. It was like a chocolate cake with a white chocolate circular slab. A slab of white chocolate that would say the happy birthday message. But this time, when the cake arrived, there was a message, but it was written on a piece of sliced processed cheese that looked to have been just slapped onto the cake.
Yeah. It was like limp, right?
Yeah, it was limp. I mean, color-wise, okay it looks like a variant of white chocolate. But then he removed the cheese, and then he found that there was indentations in the cake that he suspects belong to the actual white chocolate. So what could have happened is that the person preparing the cake, the white chocolate was there, they wrote the message, and maybe they fucked up. And maybe they ran out of white chocolate.
Ran out
and they're like, okay, fuck, what else kind of looks like white chocolate and is also edible. And for some reason, they had processed cheese. Maybe it's something they use in another bun or another piece of confectionery. They're like, fuck it. You know what? Let's just slap the shit on. Don't even cut it into the circle that the white chocolate slabs normally come in. Just a limp square. Just put it on the cake.
Yeah. It's a cheesy aftertaste to the chocolate cake, right? Yeah.
And then they Prima Deli actually responded to the media inquiries, and they said, we appreciate Brian's feedback on this, apologize for the unpleasant experience that he, as a long-time supporter, went through. We are serious about ensuring that our customers do not encounter such unhappy situations moving forward. This incident is unacceptable. We have taken the franchisee to task with a serious warning issued to the franchise outlet. So I guess they work on a franchise model.
Yeah.
So, why do you want to talk about this?
I just thought it's is it acceptable to get a slice, like a slice of cheese for the, I mean, this is not part of the cake lah. It's part of a decoration, I would say lah. Of course, it's nice. It's always a nice bonus when you get a slice of cake and then you get to eat that little white slab of chocolate on it. Yeah. I remember as a kid. I mean, not even as an adult lah. I'm like, oh yeah, I get to eat the decoration. But yeah, now it's a slice of cheese lah, and I just thought it'd be interesting discussion. Is that an acceptable compromise for you lah? Right? You know, given the rising costs that we face in the world today and all lah.
I mean,
it's a big, it's philosophical, deep discussion we're having now.
I mean, I think if I got the cake for myself, not to say that I've ever ordered a birthday cake for myself, I would be like, what the fuck is this? And my first thought would be like, okay, it's not so much about the fact that there's a piece of cheese on it. What was supposed to be here? And what is it covering up? But then can you imagine? I got it for my fiancée or something, where she has this favorite cake. And I get her a cake with a piece of cheese on it.
Yeah. I think the only way you could get away with that is if you bake the cake yourself. Like if it was a homemade cake and then like, oh, I didn't have that chocolate thing, so I put a slice of cheese on top. It's cute. It's a cute moment where your fiancé will be like, oh, that's funny, you know. And let's not eat it, of course, put it aside lah. But because they paid for this, I think it's tough to accept lah, right?
Yeah. And I mean, to Prima Deli's credit, I guess after he shared it on Facebook, someone did reach out to him and he did say that the representative was very genuine and was offered to provide the next cake on the house lah. But then, like, what about, like, for you also, it's not acceptable lah. Maybe what if you really like cheese, Terence? What if processed cheese is your favorite thing in the world?
I like processed cheese as a
snack. You like processed cheese? You like sliced cheese?
I like.
Compared to like the box cheese?
Of course, box is like, you know, you can
box
eat it
is
with
the
like
bomb, man.
Like box cheese and you know, other artisanal cheeses.
No, not artisanal. There's box cheese and sliced cheese. Because artisanal cheese is like
when you
that
say
next.
Box, what do you mean box?
It's like the craft box, that block of cheese lah. I'm not saying the artisanal one.
Okay, the block.
I'm saying the one that is still similar price to
I like slice. I like slice.
Oh, you like slice,
Yeah, I'm a processed food kind of person, you know. I don't mind processed food and all. I've grown up in that kind of environment lah, where processed food is okay lah, you know. But one thing I would say is that this is not the flavor to put a slice of cheese on lah. It's chocolate cake lah. Chocolate and cheese, I think, cannot go together. Like if it was something else, maybe even a pandan cake, maybe I might
a cheesecake
say, okay. Cheesecake,
okay,
obviously.
Cheesecake.
Cheesecake, obviously, I'll be like, okay, this makes sense. This is logical. But like you tell me chocolate cake is no, cannot. You are ruining the taste. The cheese will by osmosis, the taste will go into the chocolate. Cannot.
Can I just say osmosis is a process that is restricted solely to water, Terence?
Yeah, I know. Yeah,
it's not cheese.
Figuratively, Harish.
No, but
you want to be a language Nazi now when we're talking about cheesecake.
No, but first, chocolate and cheese, why cannot go? You get Oreo cheesecake, you get chocolate cheesecake, you get bubble tea with cheese.
Cheesecake,
you get bubble tea with cheese. You get bubble tea with cheese.
Yeah, bubble tea with cheese, but like a cake, I think cake is cake because of the texture. That's why you order a cake. If not, you can drink bubble tea for your birthday, have a birthday bubble tea. But it's different, you know. You want cake because there's something to chew on, there's something to smear all over your face and stuff like that, you know. So there is a element of the texture being very important. And cheese, processed cheese especially, like texture and taste is like antithesis to what a good like chocolate cake should be. So I would say,
cheesecake,
if it was a cheesecake and they pulled this stunt, I think I would be much less angry. But it's chocolate cake with this.
If it's a cheesecake and you saw a slice of processed cheese on it, you would feel differently. Fuck you lah, Terrence.
No,
Your next birthday, you know what cake you're getting.
okay. No, I'll be okay. I mean, I accept that this cheese is a different, it adds a different nuance to the cheesecake. Because it's cheese and cheese, so it's okay. But cheese and chocolate cannot. No. I would be, I think that's where they went wrong. And the other thing is, why couldn't have they sliced the thing to be round also or something like that?
Yeah,
make it look less
effort.
like a piece of processed. Yeah. If you're gonna cut corners like that, like you should be literally cutting corners. Like, cut off the corners, right? That's the part I didn't understand if I was the guy also. The guy
he's like, no,
to cover
bro,
it.
I don't cut corners. I don't cut corners. After I put this slice of cheese, I will never cut corners because that does not reflect my values.
Yeah, we have customer obsession. We give them as much cheese. If we're going to give them cheese, we give them as much as we can give them.
Because he or she still did the work of like putting the message on the cheese.
Yeah.
So it wasn't just a slap-on thing. It was like slap on and then still put the cheese. So maybe there's a deeper issue here, no? Maybe there's something. But going back to your point, if I saw a slice of processed cheese on a cheesecake, I would feel the same. I was like, why is this piece of cheese here? It feels so like this is something's up. Like, why is there a piece of cheese? Was it intentional? Was it supposed to be here? What is it covering up? That would be my thought. But
you might not even, if it was sliced nicely and all, you might not even realize it's processed cheese, right? At first glance.
You can kind of tell the taste. And honestly, that texture, have you ever tried it in cake?
No, that's why. I think the texture is the biggest thing.
Yeah, unless I thought, okay, there's people trying to be quirky or something. But it would have to be cut accordingly.
Yeah, and maybe two slices. You give me two slices, I can still say, okay, you're at least trying.
Two slices.
One slice, as in two, you just make it thicker, 2 slices. Then I would say, okay, at least you're trying. 2 slices feels like a generous serving, whereas one slice is like, oh my God.
But technically, he could have put the saying on the chocolate cake as well. Of course, it's like brown cream that the message is written in. But brown on brown, okay lah. Still okay lah.
Tough. Or even like, I don't know, sometimes sometimes a lot of these cake companies, they put it just on a piece of paper or cardboard also, right? Like white cardboard or something like that.
Yeah.
So maybe it could have, just cut a piece of cardboard and then written on that lah. And then, okay, they just won't eat it lah. I think cheese is below the totem pole when it comes to, below cardboard in the totem pole when it comes to on cake decorations, right?
Yeah, I still think on the cake would have been okay. Brown on brown. I wear brown clothes.
Oh, yeah, brown on brown. Brown on brown is okay.
Brown on brown. Brown on brown is okay, right? You get...
for me, it's like I gotta have the cheese on the brown. I gotta have
the
cheese, yellow on brown. Yellow on brown, yeah. Yellow on brown
is perfect for you.
For me.
This is perfect for you. But whereas for me, brown on brown is fine.
Oh, okay,
okay. Yeah, like you see brown people use brown lipstick, brown nail polish, brown clothes, khaki pants, right? Brown shoes. So brown on brown is okay.
But for me, philosophically, a birthday cake aesthetics matter a lot. Aesthetics matter a lot.
True.
Also, the whole thing standing out matters a lot, and the presentation of it matters a lot. But the one thing I'm quite shocked by is that the guy, when complaining about this on the Complaints Singapore Facebook group, I think he even showed multiple photos of the fact that he really eats the Prima Deli cake for his birthday every year. And he has like multiple examples of why they use the white chocolate biscuit every year and then why is it this. So I'm like, wow, this guy really loves this Prima Deli chocolate cake.
What luck, yeah.
And you pissed off the #1 Prima Deli chocolate cake fan.
For all people to fucking experience this, it has been the guy who loves this particular cake.
Yeah. Because I mean, if you ask me like, what do you have for your birthday cake last year, 2 years ago, 3 years ago, I cannot remember at all. Most of the time it's like, I know it's probably like some chocolatey thing, but other than that, I don't know where it came from, whatever.
Yeah.
But this guy, he has photo records of every cake he's ever eaten in the last 5 years. And do not test him.
When he saw the cheese, he was like, let me pull up my records. Yeah,
Maybe he's
let
got
me
a
pull up.
spreadsheet. He's got a spreadsheet of like every detail of his cake from every year lah. Like this year,
Yeah,
it was
yeah,
how
exactly.
the white chocolate slab was how big and everything lah.
Yeah, fucking funny, yeah.
Yeah. So
I mean,
it's a funny story lah. Yeah.
I hope that next birthday I don't know what he'll get for his cake. Maybe next birthday he'll be thinking, should I try Prima Deli again? Should I try? Maybe he's jumping the ship lah. He's not going to be a Prima Deli fan anymore.
Yeah, he might. Unless it depends. So this is the service recovery part lah, where Prima Deli, you got to do right by the customer lah. Yeah.
Can you imagine they have to investigate? They're like, who the fuck put the cheese? Who put the cheese? Okay, you're not. It won't be you because you're allergic to cheese.
Yeah.
Just fucking
Everyone
cheese.
in push-up position.
Yeah.
Until the person who put the cheese on it steps forward. Everyone's going to stay in this position until the end. Yeah.
Oh, nobody want to admit, is it? Okay, from now on, all your snacks going to be slices of cheese.
Yeah.
No more coffee, no more donuts, just cheese. You all eat cheese.
Yeah. You see our counter at the front. Everybody run and touch the counter and come back. And you all keep doing it until someone comes forward and says,
Who put the cheese? Who put the cheese?
Who moved the cheese? Yeah. Wow. This one's like internal investigations are ongoing in the company.
Good luck to that franchisee.
Yeah. But do you think this for the fella who did it, you think it's a fireable offense?
I don't think it's fireable, because I think it's recoverable. Maybe Prima Deli says, okay, for your next 5 birthdays, we will give you the cake of your choice, and we promise there'll be no cheese. We will invite you
might
to
win
come.
the customer for life, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So come on, the Tampines Prima Deli outlet.
No, I'm talking about the employee who.
Yeah, no.
who did it,
I would say the employee. I would not say it's fireable, but as long as he is willing to put in the work to
recover,
right his wrong, right his wrong.
That means he has to maybe write a letter or something to the guy and apologize, or
maybe or deliver the white slab of white chocolate to him personally, with a "I'm sorry" message.
Yeah,
written. I'm sorry for the cheese. I'm sorry for the cheese.
God. Yeah, from a birthday cake now it becomes I'm sorry cake.
Yeah, I'm sorry cake.
And maybe they should give him like multiple slabs of that white chocolate.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like pop. It's just bombing the whole cake with like multiple messages.
Yeah, man. Wow. Fucking hilarious.
First world problems that we have. Yeah.
But cool, man.
Cool.
All right.
And now, what is your one Shiok comment that you've experienced the last few days?
My one Shiok comment is on the Reddit thread for Yalabat322 when we talked about Singapore finally going mask-free indoors. I think I was making fun of the term COVID naive, which Ong Yi Kang used to describe people who have not yet contracted COVID. We were just saying, right, it's a weird term, but Mobster Boy, long-time commenter, commented, and I'm guessing he or she works in the field of medicine or research, because the comment is, in immunology, we refer to immune cells that are fresh out of the bone marrow and have not encountered an antigen or become activated as naive cells. But I guess the usage of this word in layman context does sound a bit condescending. Ha ha ha. So it's a medical term. When taken out of context, sounds a bit weird. So thanks for clarifying, man, Mobster Boy.
That's true.
Mobster Boy. Okay. Yeah.
My one Shiok comment, I'm going to dive into the deep pools of TikTok again. I think the interesting thing is that I think TikTok people are quite opinionated on TikTok or at least they're encouraged to be engaged quite a bit. And we posted something that talked about the Joseph Schooling thing, and a lot of comments have been coming in on that little short snippet we put up from our last episode already about whether Joseph Schooling should be pardoned. And what surprised me about all these comments is that they're not trying to insult or offend anyone. I think people are genuinely feeling very strongly about this issue and putting forth their opinions about it. So I would encourage anyone to, if you have if you want to get a sense of what people are saying or thinking about it, check out our TikTok comment section. Yeah.
Any preview of a particular sentiment that you saw expressed?
I mean, one is just said, can we be a little bit more specific on the details? What law specifically did Joseph Schooling break? Because his actions were done overseas. Singapore law doesn't cover for this kind of crime. So this is this is probably someone who hasn't heard our full podcast where we sort of talk through that particular law that covers it. But it tells you that that TikTok users are very they have strong opinions about this, and let's hope they also listen to our full podcast and understand the context better lah. Yeah.
Cool. All right,
Cool.
man. Cool. And then,
so what is your one Shiok thing?
would you like to go first?
I think I haven't watched it yet lah, but I think the anticipation is pretty crazy. The new Amazon original Rings of Power, which is going back into the Lord of the Rings universe. And I think what's been interesting about it is that people, I think recently House of Dragons, sorry, some drilling going on downstairs. House of Dragons just got released recently, and I think the reviews have all been pretty good. So everyone's very excited to get back into the Game of Thrones universe. But now for Lord of the Rings, that's where, I mean, it's been a while. And apparently Jeff Bezos, his own son, told his dad, if you guys are getting hold of this franchise, don't fuck it up, That's what Jeff Bezos literally said, like his own son told him. So the billionaire himself has one of the world's richest men himself has got a warning from his own son, don't fuck up this series. So I think it just got released on Amazon Prime or something. So this goes all the way back to 2001 lah, Lord of the Rings. That's like 21 years ago. And it'd be interesting for, old generations, new generations to revisit this franchise lah.
I see.
To check it out.
I still haven't watched Lord of the Rings, man.
Huh? All the way from 2001 until now, I've been talking about the history of this thing, and then you're like, haven't even seen one movie from it.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
I know, man. I know.
Game of Thrones you watched lah. Game of Thrones
I watched. And I mean, even on that front, there is that the House of Dragons, right? Which is apparently quite good. Right? It's been renewed for second season already.
Yeah. But
so much to watch.
Yeah, Lord of the Rings, I think I think you should just devote like a day of your life and just try and get through everything.
Lord of the Rings.
Yeah. It'll take about at least a day or two lah. Yeah.
Cool.
And what is your one Shiok thing?
My one Shiok thing is this local photographer that I came across on Reddit actually. I think it's his name is Xian Bang. And I came across on Reddit because on the Singapore Reddit thread, he posted a picture of this a metal fabricator in Singapore lah. So when I went to his website, I found out that he's a portrait photographer and he does some dope ass photography. But one of his personal projects is also just taking photos of cool people in Singapore doing cool shit lah. So he took a picture of Matthias, who is the founder and owner of Bare Metal Co., a local metal fabricator in Singapore, and the pictures are fucking great lah. And like I never knew there's a metal fabricator in Singapore, and he basically makes anything metal lah, like plates, handlebars. And yeah, just reading about this photographer, seems like he does great work, but he also does these sort of personal projects. Yeah, it's cool shit, man. Cool shit. So thanks to Reddit for bringing me to him and show him some love, man. Just check out the link in the I'll link to his website lah. Then you can see he has links to his Instagram and Facebook and all that.
You know him personally or anything?
No, I don't, man.
No, okay. So it's really just aesthetics lah. That's why you're recommending this.
Yeah, it's cool shit, man. Yeah, cool shit. So check him out.
Support local.
Yeah, man. Cool.
Right.
So I guess that's the end of today's episode, man.
Yeah.
Cool. All right. Talk to y'all soon.